Hello, how are my fellow ready to love viewers and reviewers doing? I'm just still so excited to see you all, to know you exist, and to know that I can come on and give my comments too, because like I said, my people don't want to hear about this. My husband bears with me, and he tries to watch with me and laugh and talk about it, but hey, he's good in that way. And yep, he's my road dog. So anyway, let's get into this this episode, season 4, episode 4. Now, I think a lot of people, we're having problems with which season this is. And at first I was like, well, look like OWN is saying it's season 3, so let's roll with what they're saying. And then I remembered I started watching in season 2, went back and watched season 1, because I was saying I wasn't going to watch it. I guess like my friends, I'm going to talk about them. So I said, I'm going to go back and watch 1, because season 2 just had so much going on. I was like, I got to go into the beginning and see what's going on with this. And then I fell in love with it by the time season 3 came along. Oh, yes, I love Jay. I was just like, Jay and Joy. And I love Winter too, but he was loving Joy, so what you going to do? I still don't think anybody should have come back, but they brought Chris back, and so here we go. Oh, just in case you're wondering what's going on here, I think I told you all some of the jobs I've had. I've had plenty of jobs, many jobs. Some I've created and some just regular jobs. So anyway, I was doing hair, had my own salon. That's why I was saying I could relate to a lot of things that was going on with these people. I need some chapstick. I usually have one with me everywhere. And I'm surprised that I don't have something in here. I got some somewhere, but just excuse me for a moment. But yeah, so you see, of course, I'm under a dryer, but I'm faking and shake breaking and whatever you want to call it. I just did some hair, and just one of my daughters, because it's still COVID. I'm not letting anybody come in. And besides, I don't do hair anymore because I got a bunch of allergies against everything, against hair color. It swells me up. I can have on gloves if it just swells me up. Doing other people's. Yeah, it swelled up my head one time. I was getting ready to take a trip to Germany, and I went and took a shot because I was like, I got to go on this trip. And so I had to get a shot in the butt. Then on another round, what the doctor told me after I went and got tested with an allergist, he said, it's just going to get worse. It's going to just advance over the years. You can go to Johns Hopkins or whoever and do all kinds of tests, but I'm telling you, it's just going to get progressively worse. So he was right. I started getting blisters on my hands, with gloves. What scared me was when my arms started swelling. It was itching and swelling after having done some hair, so I stopped. And it wasn't just permanent. It was on semis, demis, and all types of hair color. So they got some other things out there now. Maybe one day I'll try it, and if I do, I'll let you know, and I might do a video so you can see what happens and watch me either swell up or not swell up. But so I'm just under the dryer. While I was doing hair, I didn't have children when I started. And then when I started, I never wanted to have a salon in the house. But I ended up making a salon in my basement. So this is my basement. But I'm converting it over to a craft room now. So if you want to see how that goes, I got some videos with some hauls and stuff. I'm buying a lot of stuff more than probably transforming. But it's progress. It's all in progress. I'm living every day. So anyway, that's why I'm here under a dryer, because I was down here doing hair. I was going to go upstairs and do the video, but I said, let me just stay here, and I'm not naked. I just got on one of those, I'm going to try to pull it back because I don't want all my boobs to get up in the camera. But I got on one of those jumpers. It's a pant jumper in navy, and I had a meeting today, so I had one of those little dusters or swimsuit type covers over this, and went to a meeting. It was raining really hard, so I had on UGG boots even though it's hot. But they kept me warm because everybody said they were cold in the room, so they did their job because I wasn't cold at all. So anyway, so let's get into this, right? So it starts off with Joel and Vernisha. Was I shocked? Well, I guess not, because he was showing interest in her at the mixer. He seemed to have kind of said he liked what he was seeing. So hey, he liked what he was seeing, so he invited what he saw over to his house. We're guessing that's his house. So, because, they said Troy had to rent a house. But anyway, that Troy. Oh, well, I don't have to act like it's a surprise because we're doing a review because we've seen the show. And, well, we know, guess who got voted off? Whoop, whoop. Troy. And it's not that I don't think Troy is a handsome guy. Like I said, I think he's handsome. I think he's very charismatic. But he's just one of those guys to me that, he's not going to get married. Don't fool yourself if you're trying to do that. Don't even fool yourself thinking you're in love. Because my thing is, if he was going to get married, he had plenty of time to get married. But guys don't have to. They don't have to do that because they don't have to carry a baby. And all they do is release some X or Y's chromosomes so you can get a baby. So they don't have to. And shouldn't feel pressure. And some men just don't marry until later. But I just wouldn't want to be that person who married him because I said that in the previous video why I wouldn't do that. So yeah, Joel and Venetia are out. He seems to like her. He's a handsome guy. She's a pretty lady. The thing, speaking of me being in a salon, maybe this is the reason, is, they said Venetia's a salon owner. Well, and I understand that. Remember I told you that my husband had been married before and his wife passed. Well, his children are young, like 8. Venetia's going to be busy. Not every day, maybe. Sunday and Monday is how we take off days here in Alabama. And some people have limited times on Saturday here in Birmingham. But from where I'm from in Selma, people be booming all day Saturday, Friday, Saturday, and, all that stuff. So anyway, it just depends on how your city runs their salons. But if you're the owner, even if you're doing booth rentals, you're busy. And then depending on how reliable your people are, you may or may not have to be there. You may or may not have to do some hair for somebody else. You may or may not have people who want you to do their hair after they see how you do hair, and then they want you to do the hair, which that's always a horrible thing, is when somebody, and it would be horrible for me if some of my people left me to go to somebody else, which it happens, but if you're in the same salon, it's always horrible. But anyway, she's really, really busy, and most people come to get their hair done after work, or before work. But after work, definitely. Sometimes on lunch. So she may or may not have time to donate to his children. But then she has children. And if I'm not mistaken, she has at least 2, if not 3, that's still in the home. Because the third one is older. Well, the first one is older. So she may still be at home and can help. And the 13-year-old will love to play with them a little bit. But the child that's older than that, which I forget the age, she's not playing with an 8-year-old. She may help a little, but she's not going to get into a marriage that her mama got into to try to keep some children without getting paid. You got to pay her. But, you can't expect children to give up their lives for you to have a life with somebody else, to become babysitters and all that entails, getting them to school, getting them dressed. That's so unfair. So I don't know how that would go in the end, except maybe dating. Chris and Amber had a date. Well, I guess I'm supposed to say KG and Amber had a date. I like him. I like her. I don't think they make a good match. The difference in age, well, they are now. It doesn't matter because really, it's saying that she's 31. And at her age, she's really old. So it's not like he's a pedophile at this point because she's 31 years old. So I guess it's not too much of an age difference. But I'm just like thinking, well, I'm thinking at 30, she's 31 and he's 40 something, that he's going to want to change his life probably before she wants to give up what she got. But then maybe not, because some guys like, what's his name that they voted off? Troy. They'll never stop trying to hang out and party. So maybe he'll want to hang out and party. Maybe they'll both be ready to settle down. Okay, because Troy got voted off, I'm not even going to talk about the date that he had. Boy, it sounds like I don't like him. But I don't mean to not sound like that, because he has a daughter. And I want his daughter to know that her dad is a really nice guy, if she believes he's a really nice guy. If she thinks he's not a nice guy, then hey. But I don't want to be the one to badmouth him if she thinks he's a nice guy. I'm not looking into the screen sometimes because I'm just watching my TV. It's on pause, so it's like, you know how you have it on Roku and it just scrolls and has that city scene. And so I was kind of looking at that. Well, I thought I saw Michael Jackson in one of the screens. And boy, when Michael Jackson comes on the screen, everything stops. So then we have David and Stacy. He's handsome. She's pretty. He seems like he's crazy, and she is crazy. He seemed like something's not right. Just a little bit like I talked about with him talking about the mom and dad getting a divorce after 47 years and, dad being a pastor. And then him having been married and divorced twice. Like I said, I don't know why they got all these people who've been divorced twice on these shows. Because if you've been divorced twice, I'm just thinking it may not be the other person. And Stacy, I was intending to talk about this earlier if I didn't. Why is she going to let her 19-year-old child say that he's going to stay at home and not go to college as much as we need people to go to college and have some kind of sense around here in this world, and especially a young man, and then a black young man. I mean, I just want to say, period. People need to go and get an education. People, young people. And then she said her husband was a pro athlete, so most time they go through college because there's only a few that didn't go through, that went straight from high school. So chances are, if that's his dad, which he appeared to be tall on the pictures that they showed of him, he probably should be decent. But if he's not and wasn't selected for that, then that's one thing. But how are you going to stop him from going to school and having fun and being a young man and living his life to becoming your husband and your children's dad? Feeling like he has to be there. What do you have going on in that house that you making that child feel he needs to stay there with you to watch you? Yeah, this is going to be a disaster. I guess if there's a woman that I think should be off, and I may not have said this before Ida and before Andrea, Stacy. Now, I know she's pretty, and but they were too. But she's crazy. When I'm saying crazy, like I said in the first video, I'm a back pocket psychiatrist, psychologist, lawyer, doctor. Now I'm certified to do hair. I'm certified to do taxes. I can sew, went to school, did fashion work, Donna Karen, blah, 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 blah. So some stuff I'm certified in, but some stuff I'm just back pocket. I'm a back pocket doctor. I don't want to be a nurse. Couldn't be a nurse because I don't want nobody telling me what to do. I know sometimes nurses tell people what to do, but a doctor gets to tell a nurse what to do. I have to be the doctor. So for now, I'm a back pocket. All right. Well, that would be something if those two lived together. I don't know. They probably could make it work. I don't even want to go and think about. I don't even want to think about how that will work. David and Stacy. I just don't even. We're gonna move on, and we might think about that later, but not right now. Okay, so there was a 4-people date: AJ and Liz, and Jason and Alex, or switch them up. I don't know which way they started it out, but AJ and Jason on a date. How about, let's just say it like that: AJ and Jason have a bromance, and then they invited Liz and Alex because. I don't know if they have a sisterhood, but I don't know if they're friends outside of this. Okay, so AJ pairs up with Liz and Jason pairs up with Alex. And she likes it, even though she had a date. Now, she did good. She got 2 dates. She had a date with Troy, but she likes Jason. Jason is her son's coach, and she likes him. She's liked him. But he is saying that he can't separate the two. And I guess he the good thing you can say about him is he seemed like he wanted to separate the parents and not look at them as people to date. So, because he could have ran through the whole team, all the moms, because they probably all wanted to talk to him, because they always want to talk to coaches. Well, not all the time, but you know what I'm saying. Then we have AJ and Liz. They talked about things, but in every video, just like I talked about Trouble, I don't have to talk about him no more after this video. All I'm going to say about AJ is AJ ain't going to marry anybody. If he marries you, he's going to cheat on you. So you can do it how you want to. You can marry him if you want to, but he's not going to be faithful. Yes, he's tall. Yes, he's handsome. Yes, he'll get picked because people want to have tall children, because everybody wants their children to be models or actors or something like that. And we talk about Joe Jackson, but everybody wants to follow that model. Okay. I don't have a lot to say about that, because like I said, AJ is not going to marry anybody, and Liz isn't going to go with what he said. It's not even a matter of what she said. I probably have listened to what she said because of the fact that she's always said that she doesn't want to have sex before marriage. And AJ ain't going for that. AJ wants you to meet him right after this, they finish taping. So, now I don't know if anybody else noticed, because I've watched some other videos and I hadn't heard anybody say. But did you notice that Alex changed her love language from touch when she said it when she was on a date with AJ and they were making the candles? She was saying it was touch, and now she's saying to Jason that it's time. And I didn't read that book about love languages. I think it's called The 5 Love Languages. But I did see the guy. I don't know if he wrote a new book, but he was on TBN. I think they must have re-released it, because I saw it at Hobby Lobby, and it seemed like it was just pumping up everywhere earlier this year, just a month or so ago. And it was said that it was written years ago. But anyway, I've never read the book. What he said made sense when I saw the interview. But I don't know. I hadn't read the book, and I don't know if it matters. I don't know what my love language, if I was to say what it is. I don't know. Shoot. I mean, it's not that I'm forgetting. It's just a matter, like I said, I didn't read the book. I've been married for 19 years, and that doesn't mean that I'm not in the marriage and present, because I always say we get ready to go and take our honeymoon trip next month anyway, so on July 27th. So we still do that every year and take trips and go see shows, and we date and do things. We don't make it a every week date. Our schedules are really kind of different, unusual. Like I said, my husband mostly works at night and I work during the day. But the good thing about COVID is we're here at the house, school closed, so the children at the house, so we're all here and we're managing not to get together. I have 2 levels by myself, the main level and the basement here, which has my salon here. It's lit up, air conditioned and all of that. Got a TV, radio, Bluetooth, everything down here set up. So it's nice. I don't have a fridge or anything, but I got a freezer right over across the way there. So if I want some snacks, those cold snacks, I can do that. But I mean, I got a kitchen for that. So, but I mean, I got it over there, and we do have like ice cream sandwiches and stuff. I mean, if I could bring y'all one, I'd bring it and share it, but y'all can't, can't do that. But I just want to say that she changed her love language for whatever reason. And now let me just say too this about Alex. Okay, when she was with AJ, she does flirt a lot and talk about sex. And he's commenting about how he feels that she's being aggressive and it's too much. Okay, now I look at this kind of as strategy, because to me, a woman knows a man wants you for sex. When they're coming on there, they're not looking at you talking about getting married. When they're coming on and seeing who is easy breezy. And so she's trying to me, use that as a strategy to get him to be attracted to her to stay on the game a little longer. She's a pastor's wife. She knows decorum, and maybe not to do that, but this isn't what this is about. This is a game. And if you're in real life and you want to get a guy's attention, if you're talking about sex, yes, that's going to get their attention. Now, he says that he's not just there for that. The lies he tell, because he's not planning on marrying anybody or falling in love. I mean, if he was going to do that, he would have done it with Kyra the first time they went out on a date. He wouldn't have been El Cheapo. He would have made sure everything went well. And so it shows that he might be attracted to somebody on the show, but he's not attracted to anybody on the show. Yes, I know what I said. And, you know, they gave the ratio of men to women, which it is in Houston probably the same as most places. For every one man, you have 10 women. So they're used to being chased. And she's doing her best to chase. You know, she's doing her best to chase. She's doing it the way that I would do it. I would do it the same way if you're chasing a man. I don't agree with doing that, and I don't think she would in her normal day, but this is where it is. This is how it is. So, you know what you're going to do. Now, I'm going to just tell you a quick story, because like I told you, I try to tell you a situation on what makes me think the way I think about the situations. And of course, it's based on experiences that I had. Like anybody else's experience is going to be based on what they have had happen to them in life. So, one time, some girlfriends and I were in high school, and we were talking about asking guys out. And I was like, I just really don't agree with that. I think guys should ask girls out. So my friend's like, oh, no, I think if you want to be with a man, you should be with a man, and you should be able to ask him out. And I was like, no, I just don't think so, because if you ask them out, all they think that you're asking them out is for the same reason they're asking you out, is to have sex. And it's no date, no, and they're worried about that. No, we're going right to it. And I mean, I at least want to play the game in real life, that you're going to take me out or something. My children better not say that like that, but I'm just saying, you know, at least try to romance a lady. And so, and I tell them, don't let every guy's going to be trying to sleep with you. So no, don't let them do that. You gotta give them ideas of stuff to do. Go to, like we went as a family after we went out to dinner the other week, and it's COVID friendly place. And so we went to the Botanical Gardens, because, you know, you can get out there and you don't have to have a mask on. I mean, we're at the place now, we're kind of not wearing masks all the time, but I still want to be somewhere where we could social distance. And so I was telling my daughters that, you know, this will be a place where they could go if they're on a date, you know, walk around and get to know the person. They may not be really trying to get to know them, but, you know, distract them for a little bit. Of course, my youngest child, she said it was lame, the idea of walking out there. My oldest, you know, she is a rock, and she just roll with the waves. You know, she'll decide later after she gets grown. She don't try to push too many envelopes. And I'm good with that, because that was the kind of child I was. I didn't try to push a lot of envelopes. It's like, I'll wait till I get old, and, you know, if I like what they're saying, I'll do it. And if I don't like what they're saying, I won't do it. And I meant, you know, anybody that was trying to tell me how to live my life. So that's what I'm just saying. Oh, I didn't finish the story. So what happened was, I said, okay, well, I'm going to try this. I'm going to go and ask a guy his name and see, you know, what can happen. So anyway, I went up, and I almost told the guy's name. So I saw this guy. He was standing over by the lockers, and I was going to my art class. And so I went over to him and introduced myself and asked him what his name was. So he told me what his name was. And I was like, oh, okay, you know, I saw you, da-da-da-da-da. I probably said something like I thought he was cute or whatever. So I walked off and went to my class. He came back there after my class and asked for my number and stuff. And I gave him my number, and we started talking. I keep almost saying his name, and I don't want to say his name. So anyway, I gave him my number, and we started talking. And I tell you, I really did like this guy. And believe it or not, I think he actually liked me. Now, yeah, you know, he tried to sleep with me. Yeah, all that stuff. But I started meeting him in places, not outside. I was too young to really date. But at school, you know, meet by the lockers and stuff. And, you know, I'd end up walking off because, you know, I had to go to class. I'm a nerd. So, But he ended up, he was older, so he graduated first, and he ended up, like, well, one of my friends told me, nah, I didn't go to the prom with him. He said he didn't want to go to the prom. But she told me, so I got to tell you because I'm your friend. He's going with this other girl. She's paying for everything for them to go because she wanted somebody cute to be in her pictures and stuff. But you know what happens after prom? And so I was a little hurt, and I asked him and stuff like that. And yeah, he was saying, well, yeah, he didn't want to go, but she was a friend, and she asked him to go and wanted to take the pictures. And so, but I'm the girlfriend, if you ain't gonna go, don't go. So anyway, he went to the prom with her. I never saw the pictures. I didn't ask. We broke up as far as I was concerned. But then he invited me to come to his graduation. So he came to get me and stuff. And it wasn't that my house was far. I lived in the country. But I mean, from where the school and everything was, it was probably 10 minutes away. It wasn't that far out. Oh, his grandmother, he came and got me. He probably did some other stuff too. You know how guys are. And so when the graduation was over, because he was late coming to pick up his other cousin that was graduating with him, his grandmother let me have it. She didn't let him have it. She let me have it. And it was so bad that his mom told her she needed to stop because I'm a child. She told the grandmother that that I'm a child and she should not be talking to a child that way. He was the one that was irresponsible in not picking up his cousin. And, blah, 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 blah. I mean, I did everything in my power not to cry because all I wanted to do was just burst into tears. And I'm a crier. So it took every bit of me not to cry. And I just wanted to hug his mom and say, thank you so much for defending me. So, after that, we didn't date anymore. He went off to the military. I almost said the branch. That would have, boop. But let me tell you something else that happened. So, one of the girls that I was friends with, not the one that told me about him going to the prom with the other girl, but one of our other friends in the group, got mad at me. Because I asked him out, and she said she had tried to date him. Well, I didn't know I wasn't going to the school when she tried to date him. We had never talked about it. I mean, he was just a random guy that I selected to ask. And then she got mad at me because I had dated another guy that she liked and didn't get to date. And I was like, what? How is she getting mad at me when I didn't know? So anyway, that ain't got one to do with the other. All I'm saying is, if she would have watched this here, I didn't even get to say I'm sorry. She called me all kinds of B's and stuff, and I didn't even know. And this is kind of what's going on in the show, because all that stuff is kind of like real life. And I'm just saying, you shouldn't have to chase down a guy, let a guy chase you, because even if it's a ratio of 10-1, he still needs to be the one that does the chasing. It never works out for a woman. Unless you do just want to have the sex and then let him go, because AJ going to just go on about his business after all this. So anyway, so Ron and Chrysanthemum, I want to just say her name because I know I can say it and I just want to take my time how they say it on the show. They'll just say Chrysanthemum. So she and Ron went out on a date. It was a very pleasant date. And the reason it's a very pleasant date, she seemed to have relaxed with him. She was playful. She probably was everything that he wants in a woman. Because he said, like the time when Andrea seemed to say dismissive, because she and Andrea both are flight attendants, and he was talking about he want her to, they don't need that little check, and she could just be a stay-at-home mom and bop, because, he got 2 dimes that he know how to rub together. And it may or may not be enough to maintain Chrysanthemum or Andrea or any other woman. Just because he think he has 2 dimes, they might want somebody that got 2 quarters. So they need to figure out how much of those 2 dimes he got. But I mean, he has casket business and a lot of people dying. So, hey, it might be the racket. Somebody tried to get me into that, but I said, nope. I said that in another video, but here I go again. I'm just saying, nope. So anyway, he wants to have a stay-at-home wife. She said she could do that, it seemed. That's what I'm thinking I heard. And she said she's getting old. And I was surprised to hear her say that because I didn't want to be the one to say it. But I've already said it. 31 is the youngest, and that's old. If you hear my children say it, anybody born in the 1900s is old. And I laugh at that because, they make it sound like you're born in 1900, like you're 100 years old. But they even talking about if you were born in 1999, you old. So if you're 31, as far as they're concerned, if you're 22, they say you're old. So, and I mean, we all are. So, I mean, I like it that she was honest. It was so refreshing. It was just like, because she seemed like, to me, and she might be, like she's just a little tired. She's tired of working. She's tired of the show. She's tired of them. She's tired of that. She's tired of being asked questions. She's just tired of everything. Yeah, she want to be just an at-home wife, and I think Ron would give her a little time so that they could play and party and travel, because that would make sense. And she likes to travel because she's a flight attendant. So both of them are single. They don't have children. They could jump up and do whatever they want to because they don't have any obligations. They seem like they both, maybe like to party, hang out, eat good food, So she wants what he wants. He wants what she wants. It's a good time. It's a good place to be together. And I'm thinking that they can make a good couple. Probably make it to the end. If they don't make it to the end, probably by the reunion, I think they would be together because it makes sense. I don't know who else he could want, but or would want to do that, what he wants. Okay, so let's do David and Liz. Now, this seems like a match made in heaven. They both want to wait to have sex until after marriage. If that's not compatibility, because you ain't going to get a whole lot of people that agree to that. I think it's a great thing, but it's not the American way. So it seems like they should just tell the producers, hey, we're good. We can let the rest of these people get ready to love, but we're good. We're solid because nobody else on the show is agreeing to be in a relationship and not have sex before marriage. They want to try to ride that horse. What is it? They want to, whatever, that saying is, they want to try it out before they buy it. I was just dropping my notes on the floor. I'm thinking of that because this is about the end of that. So, but I'm listening to David and he starts getting worrisome again. That little something that makes me think he might just need to sit on my back pocket couch and lay back and tell me some of his problems. Because it sounds like he got something going on there. Some issues. And then, he said the first time he was the one that was out in the streets doing whatever he wanted to do. And he wasn't living right. Then the second wife, if I'm getting it right, left after 1 year. I'm like, if somebody left you after 1 year, boy, you must have been doing some stuff. Now he said he was living right, so if he was living right, what was he doing that she left after a year? Did I hear that right? Now some of the things he was saying I can relate. Here again, let me tell you some reasons why. In college, I didn't deviate too much because, it was at the University of Alabama, so I'm still living in Alabama, so, you don't want nothing going back to your parents. You don't need nothing happening, no babies, no diseases, no drugs, no drinking. You don't want them coming and snatching you out. Now, I had an issue with racism up there, but it's University of Alabama. Dang. From the top to the bottom and side to side, you're going to have something. Then you step outside of the states on either way, you're going to have some problems with that. So, what you going to do? So, anyway, when I moved to New York City, though, New York City, and I didn't go there for, what was that stuff? Picante or whatever they talked about. It must be made in New York City. So I graduated and moved there. Well, while there, I figured I would just try to live life. And I prayed to the Lord, Jesus, please. Yeah, look at my basement. But anyway, don't look at my basement. It's a basement. So I prayed, Lord, I want to Just try life a little. But please don't leave any scars on me. I mean, not like mental, physical, any kind of way. Emotional. Don't leave any scars that can make life hard later. I don't want any evidence. So, I dated a guy that was Jehovah's Witness. I guess, it's religion. I dated a guy that was Catholic. I dated a guy that was Muslim from Africa. Hi, Africa. Did I date anybody else? I didn't have sex with all these guys. But and the Muslim guy I really liked. He talked about getting married, but I was like, he's joking. He's trying to get papers. And I take marriage too serious for papers. So I was like, I'm not going to marry him. But he was really, really a nice guy. I enjoyed spending time with him. Guy that was Jehovah's Witness. I'm not saying all Jehovah's Witnesses are crazy. I'm just saying he was. The guy who was Catholic, he was Hispanic. Looked just like Babyface. He looked so much like Babyface that we were in my car one day. And I'll explain that to you another day. Well, I can explain it now, I guess. But he was in my car and we were sitting outside, I guess maybe his apartment, his family's house, because he stayed with his mom, sister, brothers, and all that. They were from another country too. And so, this guy stopped wanting an autograph because he thought he was Babyface, and he was like, no, he didn't. I don't think he really knew, but we had told him he looked like Babyface. He dressed like Babyface. I mean, he had. Well, I see Babyface. I was with blazers and dressed nice. And he was just like that, too. It was just his personality. He wasn't trying to do anything like Babyface. He didn't really even know who Babyface was. And believe it or not, I mean, he's Hispanic, so, he came from a Spanish-speaking country. And anyway, that didn't work because his folks were telling him, like, how you going to bring this girl that doesn't speak Spanish home to your mom? And so, I went to their house. They were really, really nice people. Nice. Everything was great. But I don't still speak Spanish, and I was willing to learn and try to get on the fast track. But we got off that boat. And just speaking of that, so anyway, I was working hard, and I did stop going to church and all that stuff. So I understand what David was saying about that. And I didn't give up on God, but like I said, I said my prayers. And so I guess my dad knew that I wasn't going to church. But I mean, I went from working 5 days a week to like 6 days, and I was working hard and 10 hours and 12 hours. And just seemed like all I was doing was working. I mean, I almost couldn't pay bills. We didn't, I'm telling my age. Well, I already told y'all my age, but we didn't even have like where you could pay all your bills and stuff online and auto draft and all that stuff. I mean, that's a new thing within like the last so many years. So anyway, I mean, I was working hard and I wasn't going to church because I needed at least one day to rest. And so, he quote the Bible. So, but my dad detected that, and I was like, Dad, at the church I know to go to that I had started going to and had a ride, and I moved to New Jersey. And so I was like, it takes me over about 2 hours because on Sunday, transportation, even public transportation, don't go fast. In Jersey, it was going slow to get on the bus, to go through the Lincoln Tunnel, and then you get off and you get on the trains, and they don't run fast on Sunday. So I was like, I'm in places where if I ended up dead, I was lost, I couldn't even tell you where I was. I just didn't even know to this day. And so, yes, my parents, the trucks that drive the cars, deliver cars, they rented a space on that and had my car shipped to me so I could go to church. So I understand what David's saying. My parents didn't answer the phone with praise the Lord. But yeah, it was some going to church all day Sundays in the summer, revivals. My dad was pastor 2 churches. And we weren't big balling type churches. This was places where, he didn't require, it wasn't like he was trying to get big salaries from them and stuff. He was just a man who wanted to preach the word of God and wanted to get people to understand and convert and follow the practices. So yeah, they were calling me the prodigal's daughter. And I was like, I wasn't prodigal. I wasn't prodigal. I was doing what I wanted to do, but I wasn't prodigal. So anyway, I'm just saying I can relate to what he was saying. But I wasn't married at the time, and like I said, I didn't get married until I was 32. I probably didn't say that, but I was 32 when I got married. And I wanted to wait. It wasn't a rush. I was thinking I needed time because I didn't want to be like that. I had girlfriends who got married young and right out of college, and they would tell me, girl, be careful. They be on the phone, her husband in the next room with them. Be careful. Make sure you know the person. Be careful about who you get with. Get with. This is something else, And I mean, this wasn't just one. Two, I had to say that, and the third one, I can remember helping her trying to run from her husband who was trying to beat her and all that stuff and trying to hide a car and hide her, and he was just driving all over town trying to get to her and stuff. And so I was like, yeah, you do have to be careful with that. So I wasn't trying to be fast and rush. I was really trying to see what life was about for me and what I wanted to do. I mean, I went to a school where guys go pro, football, basketball, baseball, everything, lawyer stuff. But I was like, I wanted to see what I wanted to know what my world was. I wasn't trying to chase somebody else's dollar. And plus, a lot of times those guys end up broke anyway. So you have to be with a person because you love that person. Not all of them are broken. They don't have to be. But I just wanted to kind of see what life had to offer me. So I can understand what David said. Again, I can understand why he chose to kind of get away from what he knew. But I just, like I said, prayed to not have evidence. And I don't have any evidence. I don't have any children. I didn't come out with any drug addictions, any drinking addictions, any smoking addictions. People can do what they want to do. It's not my place to judge, but it's not what I wanted in my life, and so I have no evidence. I lived, but I have no evidence. Thank you, Lord Jesus. He answers prayers. Yes, he will. So David and Liz, I think, will make a good couple, but he's getting a little ticky. And I kind of wish, I don't know if they did, but I kind of wish Liz maybe dated Joel. See, I'm trying to get from that where we do the break every syllable down. But I got to go back to it and say Joel. So, but I wish if they didn't, I wish she and Joel had done a little dating. Because I think that's a moth flying around. I have moths, so I have to really protect my wool. But I think that she and Joel could have made a good couple. And she and Vernisha are kind of around the same age. But I think she would make a way to be with the children. And not that Liz wouldn't. I don't know a lot about being a CEO of a production company and how much, excuse me, it's involved as far as her time. But she has a heart, a loving heart. But I don't know, Joel, he probably won't do that waiting until you get married. But he might do it for the right person. He just seems like a sweet person. And she think he's cute, just like who doesn't? I think he's cute. If you can find a person who doesn't think he's cute, that's a woman. Let me know. You don't have to let me know, because everybody think he's cute. But I think that they should have explored it a little bit. But maybe they didn't want to. Maybe they knew that they weren't that type. Maybe he thought that David had it locked in, so it wasn't any reason for him to try to get in touch with her. Maybe he thought she was already locked and call production and say, this is it, we're good. Let the rest of the people have fun. So, I guess that's the end of this review. I'm going to do another one. I know seemed like my main mission was to get Troy off. Troy, now that you've been voted off, and the quote that my baby said, just live your life. You don't have to try to act like you want to get married to anybody, because you don't. One thing that this show is going to do, a lot of people saying people are coming on to sell something. As a guy, you don't have to come on and sell anything. What this does is letting people know you're single and ready to mingle. And so it's going to give you an opportunity to meet some more women, because you're going to have plenty of women in all those places you're willing to travel to who are willing to have you come and visit them. So, Troy, now that you are free again, you go have some fun. If I had a drink, I would say cheers to you. Because it's not that I hate you. It's just, I don't think you really want to be in love and married. And so, why waste somebody's time? Go do you. And so I think we're going to have a happier Troy. Troy doesn't need to be on my back pocket sofa and tell me none of his problems, because he doesn't have any problems. He is living his life. Go kiss as many people as you can on the cheek. All I'm going to say is just drink some water, and don't do like me and forget your chapstick and have chapped lips. You all have a good day.